everyone. I am so excited today. We're starting our yoga series. We are going to be having yoga twice a month with Paula Evans. I think that yoga is so important at the Fearless Great Age to keep us flexible, to keep us healthy when we're older, that we can move fluidly. And so I'm so excited to have Paula, who's going to be working with us twice a month on yoga. So Paula, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay. My name is Paula Evans. I work at Rise Yoga Studio in Mequon. I just opened up in September, and I've received a warm embrace from the Mequon community. It's been great. So I'm meeting people like Jennifer. So yoga really is a philosophy. It's a guide to living well. And that guide is written down in ancient texts, and you could study yoga forever. We're just going to focus on asana, which is just one limb of yoga. So one part of it, asana, is the physical practice, and it's the easiest thing for us to really wrap our brains around because we're using our body. So we use our body every day. So we can use our body to connect our body and our breath, and then we quiet the chattering mind. So
It's hard for me.
yeah, it's hard for everyone.
It's good to know.
It's called a practice because we never really, most of us never really get to the end. Yoga is a lifetime journey.
I like that because I know from my own when I do yoga, I like sometimes you feel challenged to do this, the pose the furthest in your mind of somebody, and it's really a personal journey, isn't it?
It is. But the poses can be fun. There are many different types of yoga, and so I wanted to talk a little bit about the different types of yoga so that everyone throughout their life can find a practice that will fit their body and what they need to do. So we'll start with what most people know. That's hatha yoga. That just means that you're doing postures. So yoga basics or beginner yoga would be moving at a slow pace, just learning each posture. We call them asanas or poses. You might have heard of down dog or triangle pose maybe, and plank pose is in there, although it feels like a little workout when you're in plank pose.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. And so that is where most people start, with just this beginner yoga or yoga basics. Standing postures that will work on strength and flexibility at the same time. So I'm going to come into a pose called Trikonasana or triangle pose, and it's really important for my legs to be strong. Knees are a little micro bend, not bent. I'm going to reach out, and so I'm working on the flexibility of the back of my legs while staying really strong. And then with those strong legs, I can turn and twist the body open through the chest and gaze up. So there's a lot going on here, but the standing posture is mostly focused on this nice strength of the legs and freedom through the rest of the body. Moving from the core is key, so I'm going to lift up. I'm going to pivot my feet and just take that on the other side. And again, it's working strength, lengthening through your spine, and really opening up through the back line of the legs, so the hamstrings. Hamstrings are notoriously tight. Good. There is also yoga called vinyasa flow. So if you look at someone's schedule, you might see a vinyasa flow class. And that's really the same postures, but you're moving with your breath. So it's one movement, one breath. Sometimes people will put on some fun music to go with it, and you'll be moving the whole time. You're going to build strength, you're going to build flexibility and stamina.
Is that faster yoga then? Because you're moving with your breath, or it's just
it is
similar pace?
It will feel faster because you will. You're kind of expected to know some of the postures already, not all of them, and you'll move with your breath. So we'll link the poses together so it'll feel like you're moving a little bit faster. You should be able to still breathe deeply through your nose, and so your breath will be a guide whether you need to slow down or not.
Okay.
So this is the most popular yoga practice. You'll see it everywhere. People like the music. People like to, a little bit faster pace so their mind stays busy. And it is a lot of fun. That's kind of the first practice that I came into, was a vinyasa type practice. So Surya Namaskar A, or Sun Salutation A, is a set of series of movements that make up the vinyasa flow practice. Really, vinyasa flow is a connecting of postures. So they're loosely based around these sun salutations. So I'll show you Surya Namaskar A, sun salutation A. And then we'll move into my favorite, which is the Ashtanga Vinyasa Yoga. This is a system of yoga. It comes to us from India as well, where yoga originated. It is a series that we practice the same postures every day. As you gain strength, as you gain flexibility and stamina, more postures are added. So it grows. It gets longer, but you become more efficient moving one movement, one breath, and so your practice will get shorter and longer at the same time.
Okay. So every day you'll be doing the same poses, and then when you achieve them, or whatever word you would use, then you go on to add more poses and continue.
Yeah. So you'll be able to see your progress, which is a nice thing. Mm-hmm. Some people think you might get bored doing the same thing, but I promise you, I've been practicing Ashtanga for 6 years, and I have not gotten bored with it yet. Sometimes I have to back off. Sometimes I've had an injury before that made me go a little backwards in my practice and stop a little bit earlier. Sometimes you'll go forward. It really makes you accept where you are at each moment.
How long does that so now you've been doing it for 6 years in general, how long does that practice take you when you're doing one of them?
So if I do my full practice, it takes about 2 hours. You don't need to practice for 2 hours. So some of our beginners that come in and practice, they might practice for a half an hour to an hour. Mm-hmm. And really it's as much time as you have. So it's great for beginners because they can say, I have 45 minutes today, I'm going to do this much of my practice, and then we move on.
So when you teach a class for that, like how long do you set aside for someone? Because, they're learning, people are doing at different paces. So is it like an hour class? And then people do what they can in that hour? Because you said yours could take 2.
Yeah. So on our schedule, most of them are an hour and a half. Some days we have 2 hours. Hopefully I'll be able to lengthen that out even more. But so they just need to come in and give themselves at least an hour to practice is a good idea. So like a class might start at 7:30 and end at 9, but people might start at 8 o'clock and other people will be practicing already. So some people really like that because they can't ever get anywhere on time. So it's a unique practice, I think. Not many people are used to that style where they have to memorize so they have to work on their brain too. But once they have it, they really like it. You can do it anywhere. It's my favorite practice to take with me when I'm traveling. I just roll out my mat. I don't have to think about really what to do anymore. I just start my practice and go as long as I can. It becomes a moving meditation, so the mind is real quiet. There's no music. It's a quiet room, and it can be very challenging. It's a very physical practice, but you can start off really slow.
How often do you do, or do you recommend people do it since it's a, building process?
In the beginning, I would say 3 to 5 days a week, depending on what the person is coming in. If there's someone that has already been, doing running or aerobics or CrossFit or something, already physically active, they could go right into 6 days a week. But if it's someone that's not moving a lot, I would want them to start off slower to kind of feel how it's going to affect their body. So 3 to 5 days. Ideally, we practice 6 days a week and we take 1 day off. It is a practice that once you get used to doing it, it's hard to take that day off. And so that really helps us not be attached to outcomes. So not like trying to push through and get to a certain goal, but just enjoy the practice.
It seems like a real personalized practice.
You can modify everything to fit your body. So.
And now, is there another? So we've gone through 3 so far.
We've gone through 3, and Strong is my favorite, so I could talk about it all day. Then there's practices that are softer on the body. So as we age, we don't necessarily want to be just pushing it so hard. We want to be kind to our joints. We want to feel the breath and find calm. So chair yoga is one of them. We use a chair as a prop. You can be seated in the chair, or you can stand next to the chair and hold on to the chair for balance if needed. So it's not necessarily the aging population. It could be someone with an injury or an illness that they're dealing with that is preventing, the balance is hard. Maybe something's going on with the feet and we want to be seated. So it's a great practice. It can be strong too. It can make you turn your muscles on, but it's easy on the joints. And
seems like a practice people could do at work too, like at their lunch hour if they wanted to do.
Your desk.
Yeah.
Without looking too weird too.
Except for if you may be standing. But if you encourage everyone that you're doing to work with you.
It can be just, real easy things. Just stopping, pausing, and moving with your breath. It's amazing what just a few breaths can do. So this practice allows everyone to continue to keep practicing. There's also restorative yoga, which I really like. It is a practice to help support you. So you are mostly on the ground. You will use bolsters, blankets, blocks, all of our equipment. We get it all out, and you would maybe open up over a bolster, and so you would come into a back bend. So your spine would be in a gentle extension. Your heart would be lifted, the chest would be opening, but then you're fully supported, so it almost feels like you're floating. You could probably fall asleep in some of these postures, and we hold them for 3 to 5 to 10 to 15 minutes, depending on what the posture is, and it allows deeply held tension to leave the body. So
sounds really peaceful.
It's very peaceful. Some people do fall asleep.
I think that's good you say that, because I'm sure I probably have it at some of my yoga classes, as probably other people. So we feel better if we fall asleep.
Sometimes I say, if you fell asleep during the ending pose of Shavasana or in this practice, your body just needed it. That's what you needed today. It's okay. If you snore, I'll just tickle your foot.
You won't leave the studio. I'll leave them there.
So restorative is a great practice. I find that a lot of CrossFit athletes will enjoy this practice because they usually train 6 days a week. So 1 day off of just letting the body soften. Your muscles should be able to be strong, right? We want to be able to turn the muscle on. It's easy to see the bicep. But you wouldn't want your bicep to be stuck in that position the whole time, right? And so we might feel muscles like at the top of the neck, or some of us maybe in our hips that feel like they're almost stuck. Sometimes that can happen in the back. So giving yourself time to let those muscles soften. So a healthy muscle is soft until you decide to fire it. And then it should soften again when you're done. So this is one way to encourage that, and athletes will like that. Their brains are usually a little busy, but once they start to relax the body, the mind will start to quiet, and they can find some rest.
It seems like a good restorative thing for their mind then too, to athletes whose mind are racing, to find the opportunity to try to be peaceful in their mind too.
Yeah, it's definitely that opportunity, and it is a practice too. It can be difficult some days, easier than others. So this is Supta Baddha Konasana, or butterfly on the back. It's a supported posture, so I'm going to come all the way down. I'm going to use all the props to make my body feel supported and not overstretched. So I'm supporting the spine. I'm going to support the outsides of my legs so I don't feel overstretched here. So some people that are more open, their knees would just drop to the ground. A little bit tighter here, so I'm going to give myself support. Let the hips open. And then I'm using this blanket to add a little support to the cervical spine, my neck, lifting my head. As I let my arms come out, I'm feeling just a gentle stretch or opening through the chest and the top of the shoulders. And so with this type of posture, it would be a natural breath in and out through the nose. The belly is soft, and it'll gently rise and fall with the breath. And a posture like this could be held for about 10 minutes. If anyone feels uncomfortable after a while, they can simply move out so they would just move to another position and rest. So,
That looks like fun.
it is really nice. It's really have an emotional response in yoga because stuff bubbles up, and that's okay.
And next week we're going to talk about yoga for lower back, which is so important.